Welcome to the PPC Radio Show. We're back with Shelly Shell Williams, DJ Kid Disco, and our special guest today, Carla Curtis. We are so happy to have her, and we're happy to have you. So please get ready to give us your comments and your thoughts about wherever this conversation goes, and we will start that right after this break.
WGFB-FM radio. So are you ready? How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365. After these messages, we'll be right back.
The COVID.
Cinda Williams here, and welcome to the Grown Folks Radio World. Wednesday afternoons from 2 to 4 Eastern, I host the PPC Radio Show with Shelly Shell Williams.
Hey everybody, it's Shell Williams, Philly's Oprah.
We got some important stuff to talk about.
Fridays at noon Eastern, I present the PPC Podcast. It drops on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and many more. Please join me for real talk, great guests, lots of laughs, and powerful, precious conversations that can fill your self-help treasure chest with gems.
Listen, you only think you know Cinda Williams, co-host of the PPC Radio Show and the Melanated Morning Show. You've seen her in films with some of the GOATs. You may have even heard her sing her way to the top. You don't have to judge the book by its cover. You can get the book and read it cover to cover. I'm talking about Pink Panty Confessions by Cinda Williams, available in paperback and digital format in all good bookstores. I would probably look in Amazon.
Pink Panty Confessions, the book.
The COVID-19 vaccines can be our chance to get back to our plans, who we are, what we miss, to get back to each other, to life. But it's okay to have questions, like, how were the vaccines tested? In rigorous clinical trials among adults of diverse backgrounds. Can the vaccines give you COVID-19? You cannot get COVID-19 from a vaccine. Why should I get vaccinated? Protecting yourself also helps protect the people around you. Find the latest information at getvaccineanswers.org.
Hey everybody, it is Shell Williams.
Hi, this is Cinda Williams, and I am so blessed to tell you about a new book on survival called Faith, Failure, Success, Volume 2, Surviving the Storm. Erica Summers, Martha Chavez, Latricia Rice, Nicole Reed, Vanya Hudson, and I have come together to share our deepest challenges and how we overcame. Please check it out on Amazon.com and wherever books are sold.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of Amazon's roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in their buildings to keep people healthy. Go to Amazon.com/apply. That's Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
WGFB-FM radio.
So are you ready?
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
PPC, 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 yeah. PPC, PPC, CPC, yeah. Join me so we can grow together. Conversation, get that healing. Let them know what they're missing. Share with your best friend. Tell them come hear this, yeah. Don't you dare miss your blessings. Powerful lessons, true confessions, yeah. PPC, yeah. A powerful tool for you, PPC, yeah. A powerful over you and me. PPC.
Welcome to the PPC radio show today, April 20th, a big day for many people. Some birthdays out there, some fun times out there. There's a lot of different people celebrate April 20th for lots of reasons. So God bless you all, especially that man, DJ
His
Kid.
face sparked up. Like, listen, if nothing else bothered him, he like, wait a minute, 420 is the day. He said, what do I need a day for? I do it every day anyway.
So I hope you guys are enjoying your day. So happy to have, of course, Shelly Shell, who is looking so fine today. What's up? All fancy. What's going on?
Thank you. I'm just here.
But beware of 421 day.
I
What's
know.
421? Did nobody get anything done? They take
surprise.
off?
No, 421 is official surprise drug test day.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
That's a good warning for our folks that are listening in that are in states that are not legal. So yes, thank you for the reminder. We are so happy today to have Carla Curtis with us, who is a lovely lady out of Chicago, Illinois, who is doing wonderful things, has had a fascinating life. And but before we really dive deep into what I already know about you and we can get to know more, we do something special that Shelly Shell has. So give it to us, Shelly.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready, Carla?
I am ready.
All right. So we know some things about you, but what don't we know? Which is, what is your true confession? It doesn't have to be deep and secretive. It can just be something that maybe not everybody knows. So what is your true confession? And then we have to follow suit. So let's see what it is.
Two quick things come to mind. I used to want to be an actress. Yeah, that was my desire. And I also used to want to be a warden of a woman's prison.
Okay, you got to explain that one, please.
What the what? What the what? What?
I don't know. The acting, I wanted to be an actress because I wanted to disappear, become other people, as in a character. Warden, I don't know. I guess I just always wanted to help others. And I thought that I could do that in that type of.
in the prison? You wanted to help the prisoners?
Well, yeah, because
they all need help.
They all need help. And, years ago, I was part of a ministry and we used to go to the local jails. Local jail. And yeah, and I was adamant against doing it. And once I started doing it, I loved it. They need encouragement, they need hope, they need all kinds of, inspiration. Most of them feel ashamed anyway. And so kind of just, being there to just, encourage them, and that's about it.
I like that. I mean, like that. So how about you, Cinda? What did you? You are an actress, so
Right.
What did you always want to be?
Well, the only couple of things that I ever even took hold in my mind was to be a therapist, and to be a police officer. I thought about that. Yeah, I did think about that.
Your father was a police officer. Your father was a police officer.
My father was a police officer. So nobody followed in his footsteps in my family. No one is a police officer.
I understand why. No.
Yeah, especially nowadays,
Right.
Things have changed tremendously. The respect that the role has changed in some people's eyes, not everyone. Some people
Right.
still look up to the police depending on who you are. But I thought that if I was a police officer, kind of like you being a warden, maybe I could be helpful to people and fair when so many aren't. you know, the good cop, you know, someone that actually cares about the people, even if they've done something wrong, quote unquote, wrong, according to our rules and laws, they still deserve to be treated fairly and with respect. And my father, most of the time, did that. My father had a large amount of respect from the community because they knew that he was taking care of them. And so I liked the thought of that. In therapy, same thing, helping people. And that's why I do this whole platform. That's why I do this, because it's my way. I did become a hypnotherapist, though I didn't use it, practice it for long, but I was a hypnotherapist and I have the ability to do it. And I went through the process. So, but that's why I do PPC, because it's my way of opening the door for people to be helped. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shelley?
So disco, I'll go next. Okay, now we'll go to disco because this might be funny. Let's see. So I think I wanted to be a lot of things. I wanted to be an actress. That was a secret thing. I wanted to be an actress, and I wanted to go to prisons when we were on television, Urban Expressions. We reached a lot of people in the prison system. So I went to the church and said I would like to be a part of that kind of ministry, so we can go in and I could give them hope. I didn't want to be a warden. I didn't want to have a job there. No, not whatsoever. But I didn't mind. I wanted to go and kind of like spread love, but we never got a chance to do it. But that's something I would have wanted to do. But it's funny, the common thing here, therapist. I always wanted to be like a school counselor, which is kind of like a therapist. That was something I always wanted to do. And so I was like, man, we got a common thread here. Like I wanted to do it. Now we do it through, like you said, through the platforms of being able to talk. Maybe we need some credentials. I don't have no credentials. I ain't go to school for it.
But you're extremely helpful to people.
Right.
You have some people I just think have a tendency towards nurturing others and listening and loving, and you might not have any quote unquote credentials, but you certainly have an ability that, you know, I think it's a blessing that you use, and you use it with humor, you use it with your light. So I think you are providing that kind of service to a large group of people. And that's probably what you were feeling when you were doing it through Urban Expressions. You were helping those, you were giving them fun, you were giving them entertainment, you were helping them. And so what about you, kid?
Let's go.
All right, so keeping up with the similarities, I never wanted to be a therapist, but I need therapy. I quite often.
I knew it was gonna be funny. I was just waiting for it. So
as far as being an actor, I still want to be an actor. I wanted to be a comedian. I thought I was funny, but I got a bad attitude, so I can't see me on stage cracking jokes. What you laughing at, cuz? Like, you laughing a little bit too hard. Like, all right, but I don't think you was laughing at the joke.
Right.
I know I got green and yellow pants on. What you laughing at? All right.
You should try it, Disco.
I'm gonna see you after the show. After the show. So and as far as the prison, I've been to prison, and I've actually worked on the women's side, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. Them girls is more ruthless than the dudes. They a problem. For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think today, period. I mean, girls have come out of a box. You used to be so oppressed and hold everything back in and pretend to be feminine and all this kind of stuff. And girls have like bust out that box. And I think it might be a little imbalanced now because they're going so far to the right that they are ruthless because they're fighting for their lives and they're ruthless. I mean, you see it in schools. The fights with the girls are way worse than the fights with the boys. You know,
I know nowadays they fighting a little differently with the boys. They using weapons. I don't know.
Yeah,
right.
These girls run up in your crib.
Yeah.
Like it ain't. Honorable mention: Orange is the new porn. I mean, Orange is the new black.
Yeah. Right quick before we dive into Carla's life, I want to say hi to Brian. What's up, bro? Reverend Hughley, and James. Good afternoon, friend. Earl, Chauncey, nice to see you back. Earl, nice to see you back. Vicky, thank you for saying happy birthday with my daddy. And hi, Paula. Paula, you know how ruthless they can be. So hi, everybody. Thank you for being with us today. So Carla, let's get into you. You have been an inspiration to me, your story. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from and your upbringing, all that.
All right, I'm Carla Curtis. I was born in Springfield, Illinois, raised in a two-parent home. I have a brother who's about 3 years younger than me. I also have a half brother and sister. We have the same father, but we didn't, grow up together. Had a pretty good childhood growing up. Nothing was perfect. I lived in Springfield up until I was 21. And let me backtrack a little bit. I had my daughter, one and only child, at 18. And at the time that I got pregnant with her, I had also gotten a acceptance letter to go to Morris Brown College in Atlanta. And so put that on the back burner and had her, worked a couple years and took care of her. And then when I was around 20, my dad and I had a conversation, and he was just like, you're grown, you're getting older, grown folks don't need to keep living together. And he gave me 6 months to find a place. And I said, okay, well, and then I thought about it. And then I had some good friends who were married at the time, and they called and they said they lived in Maryland. What do you think about coming out here to live? And I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. So I flew out there December 31st, 1986 to interview at some agencies to help you get jobs. Got a job January 7th, 1987, and moved out there a couple of weeks later and was there for 10 years. Yeah, my daughter and I, like I said, she was 3 when we left.
How long did you stay in the home with the friends?
Oh, actually, you know what? I stayed with them only a couple of weeks because I reconnected with one of my mom's best friends, and she lived around the corner. And so I stayed with her maybe a month or so, but not long. I got an apartment, and then my first apartment was vandalized, left there, and then got another apartment. But I wasn't with them, very long. My daughter stayed back the first 3 weeks, and she was supposed to stay back a couple of months, but my mom said, no, you need to come get her. So I came back and got her. And then I called Ebenezer AME Church in Fort Washington, Maryland to look for a babysitter, and then got connected with a wonderful babysitter, and the rest was history.
So that story is honestly a very different one, because I know there's all kind of lifestyles and people do all kind of things, but most of the time the story is when a young girl, has a child, they stay home, and grandma and grandpa, if they're there, or grandma ends up doing a lot of the raising of the child. And not only did you leave home, you left home. You left. And so what gave you that kind of, obviously you had support because they invited you to come that direction to get on your feet. So what gave you the courage to leave home?
Well, I think what gave me the courage is that I always wanted to live someplace other than Springfield, Illinois. I wanted to see how others live in different parts of the world. And I also wanted to expose my daughter to other things. And so, I always, in my mind, my parents were there, all kind of family members were there. And I knew if I didn't at least try, I would regret it. Because as my brother and I were talking about it recently, I knew my mom and them weren't going to move anywhere. So if it didn't work out, I knew I could always come home. Like I said, I got family, parents, aunts, uncles, all of that. So I knew I could easily come back home. But if I didn't try it, I knew that I always would regret it. And, although Springfield is over 100,000 people, most of the African Americans, we all know each other. And if we don't know each other, we know of each other. My dad was born and raised there. My dad will be 80. So, yeah, know just about everybody. He's been there all his life, except for maybe a year or two when he moved to Chicago as a teen with his sister. But I just wanted to see something different. I like change. I've always I recognized that early on. And so it's like, let me try it. And I think too, because I got pregnant young and I didn't go to Morris Brown, because the plan was I was going to be roommates with my best friend who went to Morris Brown, and then my two cousins were there. And so after I found out I was pregnant, my mom was like, well, you got to take care of your baby now. You don't have any other options here. And I was like, wow, I was supposed to be in Atlanta. And then it was like, okay, I may not be able to leave now, but eventually I'm leaving. And so
if your dad never said to you, grown people can't live in the same house, would you have left at that particular time?
I think so, within that year. Yeah, because I was, again, pondering about what to do. And I knew that if I moved out and got an apartment, that I would, not really probably pursue what I wanted, pursue my goals of wanting to live somewhere else. I thought about Chicago because it was 3 hours away, because I have family in Chicago. But, after my friends and them invited me, I'm like, oh, DC, Maryland. So.
Mm-hmm. So you moved far away with a baby as a teenager, got a job, got your feet, got your own place, and then eventually went back to school. Was it that support system and the friends that you made there and that church that helped you along this path? Because that seems like it would take a lot of internal fortitude to do all of those things at such a young age. I mean, when I had my daughter at 36, I was trying to figure it out. So I want to know, how'd you do that?
Well, when you're young, sometimes for me, I was fearless. Like I said, I was 21, she was 3. And as far as my education, I always wanted to get my education. And I always said I was going to get it regardless. And so I wrote my goals of, I want to get my bachelor's by the time I'm 30. And so however long it takes, whatever it takes to get there, I'm going to do it. And so I did have a good support system while I was at Ebenezer AME. Then I went to another church, First AME, had great support system there. Met some good friends that I'm still in contact with today. It is just something that I've always wanted to do. And then I'm the type, I always seek wisdom from others that have done it. So I talk to others. I've had cousins that were single, getting their education, bachelor's, master's. Other people that I know, one lady in particular, she was divorced and had a couple kids, went back to law school. So I always sought out other people that were doing the things that I wanted to do. And then another thing I believe that has helped me then and now, I always look at history. And so I think about my ancestors that went through all kind of hell. And that also kept me focused, because I would always say, how could I not? The sacrifices that they've made, for us to vote, all kind of things that they went through, and they never gave up. So whenever I would get low, down and out, I would be like, okay, John Lewis, Freedom Riders, Mary McLeod Bethune, Martin Luther. I was like, now if they can do it against, insurmountable odds, I can do it. And so I think that's also what helped me. And I was raised in a church. I have a strong faith. And I just also believe that if I trusted in God, things would work out. It wasn't always an easy ride. But my whole life has been a faith step. And so I truly trust in God. And, again, you may not always know how it's going to turn out, but if you trust in him and, be around the right people, seek wisdom, I think the important thing is to be open to learning. I've always been open to learning. Again, seeking wisdom. I don't know everything. I still don't know everything. And whatever I wanted to do, ask somebody that's already doing it. And
So you said you knew you wanted to go to college, right? But did
yes,
you always know what you wanted to do, the profession? So you knew when you went to get the BA that what you wanted to do for life?
no, I did not. I knew I always wanted to help others. Now I definitely knew that. But while I was in DC, I worked on Capitol Hill for 5 years for Senator Alan J. Dixon, Democrat, who lost to Carol Moseley Brown in '92. Loved it. Then I left there. I worked 5 years as an independent school as a school administrator, working in the admissions office. Again, everything that I've done, it's about helping others. I always knew I wanted to be a therapist, but everything's about timing. So when I left DC in '97, I said, you know what, I want to try this corporate thing. So I came to Chicago, got a corporate job, did that for 16 years. And while there, I managed a team, a couple of years, and I always found myself encouraging others. So I left corporate in 2013 to finish my master's in mental health counseling. And to finish my internship. So I stepped out on faith. I've left it behind me, finished school, did my internship. I got an internship in Maywood at a halfway house, working with adults struggling with addictions and mental health. And even though I knew I wanted to be a therapist, I never thought I would end up working with adults with addiction. Now, I will be honest about that. It just, looking for an internship, it just fell on my lap. And then I enjoyed it. And then my old supervisor said, well, you're going to have to get more education so you can get another, take a state test. So while finishing up my master's, I was going to a community college simultaneously to be able to take the classes to sit for my CADC and to get that. So, it's been a long journey, because even before my master's in mental health, while in corporate, I got a master's in managerial leadership. So
you're just incredible. Look at you.
I mean, I tell people, if it had not been for God on my side, because I couldn't have done it. I'm just gonna be honest, I couldn't have done it. Raising a child, years ago, married for a hot minute, in relationships off and on over the years, life issues, my own issues, but I just believe in going after whatever I want. And
whatever you want, you getting it, right? Because God is good.
Well, God is good, but I work hard too.
That's right.
And that's what I have to tell people. They think, a lot of people think things are easy. Well, they weren't there in the midnight hours when I was praying and trying to figure out how to pay bills and at work, stressed out, but you got to go to class, got to write a paper, dealing with life situations. They, people look at your success, but they don't look at the process. And the process is long. Even to be a therapist, I started graduate school in 2006. I didn't finish till 2014. It was 8 years because when I did that master's, I took my time. And in between, I had to stop. Sometime my mother got sick when she got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2009. So I stopped. I got sick. I went back and, back and forth. So it was a journey. It wasn't this straight linear thing, So
not only have you helped one-on-one people, but you've also written books, which helps masses of people. And I want to get into that a little bit after we take our break. You ready, DJ Kid Disco? We're going to take a break here, and then we'll come back.
Stop getting high. We're taking a break.
Taking a break.
For the record, I've been sitting here the whole time.
You have.
I know. I told you I was going to mess with you today.
Tell with me and Shelly ain't talked in a while. She just
warned you.
Yeah, she just started.
Hi, Tamika. All right, let's take that break.
It's the PPC Radio Show, hosted by Cinda Williams, co-hosted by Shelly Shell Williams. Music by DJ Kid Disco on the Grown Folks Radio. Yo, 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 yo. WGFB-FM Radio.
So are you ready?
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The COVID
Cinda Williams here, and welcome to the Grown Folks Radio World. Wednesday afternoons from 2 to 4 Eastern, I host the PPC Radio Show with Shelly Shell Williams.
Hey everybody, it's Shell Williams, Philly's Oprah.
We got some important stuff to talk about.
Fridays at noon Eastern, I present the PPC Podcast. It drops on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and many more. Please join me for real talk, great guests, lots of laughs, and powerful, precious conversations that can fill your self-help treasure chest with gems.
Listen, you only think you know Cinda Williams, co-host of the PPC Radio Show and the Melanated Morning Show. You've seen her in films with some of the GOATs. You may have even heard her sing her way to the top. You don't have to judge the book by its cover. You can get the book and read it cover to cover. I'm talking about Pink Panty Confessions by Cinda Williams, available in paperback and digital format in all good bookstores. I would probably look in Amazon.
Pink Panty Confessions, the book.
The COVID-19 vaccines can be our chance to get back to our plans, who we are, what we miss, to get back to each other, to life. But it's okay to have questions, like, how were the vaccines tested? In rigorous clinical trials among adults of diverse backgrounds. Can the vaccines give you COVID-19? You cannot get COVID-19 from a vaccine. Why should I get vaccinated? Protecting yourself also helps protect the people around you. Find the latest information at getvaccineanswers.org.
Hey everybody, it is Shelly Shell Williams.
Hi, this is Cinda Williams, and I am so blessed to tell you about a new book on survival called Faith, Failure, Success, Volume 2, Surviving the Storm. Erica Summers, Martha Chavez, Latricia Rice, Nicole Reed, Vanya Hudson, and I have come together to share our deepest challenges and how we overcame. Please check it out on Amazon.com and wherever books are sold.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of Amazon's roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in their buildings to keep people healthy. Go to Amazon.com/apply. That's Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
WGFB-FM Radio.
So are you ready?
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365. It's the PPC Radio Show, hosted by Cinda Williams, co-hosted by Shelly Shell Williams. Music by DJ Kid Disco on the Grown Folks Radio. Yo, 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 yo.
Welcome back. Y'all remember that. Thank you so much for coming back with us and sharing your comments. So, Kid, every time you show up like that, I wonder, do you want something to say? You want to say something right now? Okay. All right.
Oh, you getting high. Oh, you getting high. That's what it is. Oh, you getting high. Get mad. Get mad.
No, I'm representing. I'm just trying to let everybody know that I'm here in spirit. You know what I mean? I'm following, but
Here in spirit, but my mind is just gone. No.
Well, I had it's 4:20, so I had to see the weed guy this morning, like for real.
God.
Like,
Oh,
it was
okay.
I was his first stop, and I'm sorry, fresh batch is always the best time of the day. So.
Okay.
Understood.
Understood. All right. So, Carla, so you've written, I wrote down at least three books, The Power of a Mother's Love, The Blessing of Snowflakes, and also A Single Woman's Parenting Journey, Survival Tidbits. So in all this stuff that you've been doing, when did this happen? When were you able to actually also write 3 books?
Actually, I've written a couple more, but
Mhm.
you know what? It started years ago when I lived in the DC area. I started journaling. And the reason why I started journaling in a couple of relationships, you know, sometimes, men can get on your nerves. And I actually used to have a bad temper. And so to calm my nerves, I started writing like letters to them and different things, get my things off my chest. And then I found that I liked to journal. So I've been journaling for, I don't know, 30 years. And I knew I always wanted to write a book. And I said, but what would I write it about? And they say, write what you know. So one time on a plane ride years ago, I said, maybe I'll write a book for single mothers. Well, at the end of 2000, I found out that my daughter was pregnant and she was a senior in high school. I got pregnant as a senior. And so that kind of took me on a interesting mental ride. And so I said, you know what, let me just focus on my book so I can keep myself focused. And so my first book came out in April 2001, A Single Woman's Parenting Journey, Survival Tidbits. And it's really a book about encouraging single mothers. It's not about how to raise, kids. I'm not looking to be a single parent expert. It's really to motivate single mothers, And so I wrote that April 2001. My first granddaughter was born July 2001. And so wrote that book, got some good response. And then my second book that I wrote was a follow-up to that one because the first book had a chapter of prayers. And so my second book is Grip the Rope, Prayers for Single Mothers. I wrote a prayer for each letter of the alphabet in that book and got, good reviews. And then after that book, I wrote A Date with Jesus, A Woman's Guide to a Closer Relationship with the Lord. And that book was birthed out of 2008 or 9, something like one of those times. I was asked to speak at a woman's retreat. And I remember I thought I was just going to do a normal speech. And she said, no, you're doing the icebreaker. And I'm like, whatever that is. So then I prayed about it. And then I happened to come home, open a folder, and it had an article. When I'm bored, I write. And it was like, I wish I had a date or something like that. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do the icebreaker called A Date with Jesus. Basically spending that time with God, that quality time, whether you're married or single, it's important. So after that event, I said, I'm gonna write a book. So I wrote a book on A Date with Jesus. And then a couple years later, I wrote my short fiction, The Blessings of Snowflakes. But in between that, The Power of a Mother's Love was written. It's part of an anthology for individuals that have family members or friends that had cancer. And at that time, my mom had just got diagnosed with breast cancer. So I was approached. I said, writing's therapeutic. Let me write something. And so like I said, I did the fiction. Again, bored. And writing is just, again, it's a coping skill for me. It helps relax me. I said I'd rather write than drink because that would be the next thing to do. So if you want me to keep it honest and real,
Yeah, always.
I mean, in my teen years, that's all I did. I did a lot of drinking and smoking weed, just cutting up. So I know who I am. So I'm like, if I don't write or develop some healthy coping skills, I can see myself sipping on some wine every day or something.
Mm.
And so, yeah, writing just became my love. I love it. And my mom used to like to write, and she was very particular with us about being able to write and speak well. She drilled it in us. And then when I got my bachelor's and first master's from National Louis University, they drilled in us, you have to know how to write in order to be successful. You have to be able to communicate. So I was like, okay. And again, it's something that I love. You know, I love doing. I can do it, quickly. I've done, a couple of flash fiction here or there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how that was birthed. And again, I like to help people. So even with my book, Grip the Rope, Prayers for Single Mothers, I had donated some to some jails and prisons. I've been asked to send books to prison. I have a friend, her former husband reached out to me and had a friend in prison for life, asked me to send her a book. Even though she didn't have any kids, but I did. And then I met a lady, I think it was 2009. I spoke at a event in Champaign, and we just got to talking. It was interesting. And I was telling her I want to write about something, and we just, just introduced each other. We just started talking. Then she left and she came back. I'm like, well, you okay? She says, I don't know why I'm coming back. And I said, okay. And then she just started sharing with me about her
I'm sorry,
son.
Carla. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just got a text. Can you give us the name of that first book again?
A Single Woman's Parenting Journey, Survival Tidbits. But also let me say that book was republished last year, the 20th anniversary edition, and I updated it, and it was published by 220 Publishing. So they can look on Amazon and that one will come up.
So the first ones, were they through a publisher or self-published?
I self-published it.
What made you go with a publisher?
The second time around?
Yeah, right now, or you said republish them.
Oh, yeah, because I'm busy. I'm doing a lot of stuff, working, trying to open businesses, doing all those kinds of things. And I'm like, okay, I can write it, but I don't have the desire to publish it, do a lot of publishing it. You know what I mean? Running a publishing small press. Don't have the desire. And so I knew all about 220 Publishing. So I just approached them, and the rest is history. It's like, why even do that at this point? I only self-published when I first became an author to learn the nuts and bolts of the publishing industry. I had no knowledge. I didn't know anybody that had written a book. So I just started researching, and I got some mentors in LA, Maxine Thompson, and Dr. Oh my God, I can't even think of her name right now.
So can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes, of course.
Do you think you would have been as successful as a writer had you not gotten those degrees?
That's a good question. I mean, maybe not. I mean, those degrees helped me. Of course they helped, but I'll be honest, I always did have a natural ability to write like my mother did. So I can say they helped hone the skills. When you write in 50 tons of papers, it helps hone your skills. But I think I would have always been successful. It just, again, it might have taken me longer to hone the skills, to really perfect them.
I think I should say, just, as a reminder, I'm actually with 220 also.
Right.
My projects that's how Carla and I were connected, because crazy enough, she was the one I was going for to try to be our therapist when we had a different format, when we had a therapist on the show. And I spoke to Carla all that time ago. But she just had too much going on in her life. So I ended up going a different direction. But yeah, it is it's hard to publish.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for a small boutique company. It's so much work. If you're doing it yourself, which you can do,
right?
it's just a lot. You're playing a lot of roles. You're doing a lot of things, and everything is, yourself. You're doing your own copywriting. You're doing your own. You're doing the printing. You're doing the publicity. You're
Right.
doing everything. It's a full-time job, and it sounds like you already had a full-time job, or two, and in school. So there's something to self-publishing if you've got that kind of money and time. But if you don't, it's a huge undertaking for people.
And also I want to add, at that time, at last year, I also do some editing. And so last year I also was editing a memoir that was published by 220 called Chasing the Silver Lining by Dr. Livingston Alexander. He's a retired president of a college in the Philadelphia area. So I was, engrossed in that. So I'm like, I know I'm not going to try to publish, because I love to edit too. And so I got that opportunity. And so I was like, okay, I need to make sure I'm focused on this book to make sure that it's the best it can be.
So right quick, I just want to say hi. I'm not Attilio Daniel. It's nice. I've never seen you. Welcome to the show. Hi, Christopher, old man. Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for joining us. I want to ask right quick how you see. I want to write fiction. I started off with memoirs and stuff like that, but I really want to write fiction. How did you make that transition?
I always wanted to write fiction, so I said, let me just take a stab at writing a novella. I knew that I'm not going to write a big fiction book, So I just took a stab at writing that novella, and I just came up with a storyline. Again, bored and just kind of thinking. And so my short story is about, the protagonist is a woman that is struggling with the death of her mother. And they were real close. And it just started flowing. And interestingly enough, a year later, my mom died.
Wow.
So it's like, I don't know if God was preparing me. I don't know, because some people have asked, what made you write that book? I don't even know. As I started writing, the characters have just come to you. And it's like, that's the direction the book took, that she was dealing with mental health issues as a result of her mother's death, and the psychological impact that losing her mother, and her mother had cancer. And at that time, my mom's cancer was in remission. So her cancer came back in 2015, and she died a couple months later. So it was interesting. So I don't know if, like I said, God was preparing me, but I always wanted to try fiction. And so I did. I took some workshops. I'm an avid reader, so read different books. But again, anything I want to try, I just said, why not? Let me try it. Yeah, I got some editors I hire, and they give me feedback.
Can I ask you one controversial question? I'm kind of like hoarding questions, but do you think the fact that you have not been married has helped you have the time to do all this?
That, I think it's helped. But even when I've been in relationships, I always made my goals a priority. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I could look back on some relationships, one guy in particular, and we used to hang out, and I'd be like, well, I gotta study. And he'd be like, what? You gotta go. I mean, I'm sure it's made it easier, but I'll be honest, I was still doing.
So would you say you've always been married to your work?
No, not necessarily.
But she said you was married. You say you were married, so you had a boo. So you was.
But that was a long time ago, and I've been in other relationships, but I've always my goals have always been
your side boo. Was your main boo your job, and whatever dude was side boo? Like he didn't even realize he was a side piece.
No. not necessarily. No, I'll be honest. When I have been in relationships, trust me, no, they got attention. I mean, I put my all in it. I can honestly say that. Nah, they didn't get like the leftovers of what you're saying. Nope.
Because you're a person that seems like you put your all into whatever you want to do. Like when you want to do it, I'm
Yep.
putting my all into it.
Yep. And if you called any of them today, they would tell you, oh, no. Spend time, whatever I do, as a mother, as a grandmother, whatever I do, I'm committed to it. So in relationships, I'm committed. It's no, I don't have time because I'm doing a project. Nope. I know
That's my life. That's me, Disco. I ain't got time. No. So is there anything you've done a lot. Is there anything you still want to do? Do you want to have that partner for life? Do you want to go to an island and retreat one day? Is there anything else you want to do?
I definitely am open to that. Of course. I love to travel. I'm open to that, but at this age, one of the things is you get to be in your 50s. You don't want to settle. I've been there, done that. I would want somebody that, is goal oriented and that we can work together towards something. Not anything that's not balanced. Maybe you trying to move in my house and you need help with this. I'm too old for that. But yeah, I'm open to it. Like I said, I've always been open to it. Just because you achieve certain things doesn't mean that you put relationships on the back burner. It's just, you have to know how to balance things. I mean, a lot of people that are successful are married. Look at actresses, look at Denzel and everybody.
Can I ask a question? Can we dial back? Can we dial back for a minute?
Okay, dial back.
Bring it. Wait a minute. Why the first thing women say is dudes be trying to move in the house? Is that really a thing?
Because they do. Oh my gosh, especially when you got a house. It's like the house is like the attractions for the homosexuals. I swear it is.
I keep hearing.
I swear it is. It's like, if I could say, I ain't gonna tell my business, but you know how many people try to moon up, we could just combine our incomes and, we gonna come to like, how many times.
Because Shelly, I thought of you when she said that. I don't know why. What? You popped into my head and the whole. Is that a thing with dudes is doing nowadays, ladies? What the?
Okay, let me speak. Not all men. No, absolutely
not all men.
But it does happen. I mean, come on now. You've heard about women that have taken care of men, and there's men that take care of women too. We don't want to make it so. Again, some do, not all. There's some wonderful, fabulous men out there. But
there are wonderful, fabulous men. I'm not saying that, but there are a particular type of people who are attracted to the person who has the home, and the easiest thing to do is to just move in with the woman because she has a home. You already got a home, so.
I mean, when I was younger, I did have a whole, backpack on my back dealing with the chick in the projects that had the best food stamps, yeah, but in your 50s? That's where I'm at.
I don't know about anybody in the 50s. I don't do 50s.
No, because she's saying, no,
it happens though. It does happen on both sides, and because life happens. I mean, I can personally say, just a little bit. I didn't know that I was going to go through the things that I went through over the last few years.
Yep.
And things, I used to be the breadwinner. I used to be the one taking care of everybody. But now, shoot, I'm in a position I need some help.
No, that's different.
So life happens, and it happens for men and women, especially in your 50s.
No, I'm talking about these dudes that's definitely just like they homosexuals. Like they really online looking for chicks that got the best crib.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about them. I haven't met those guys.
No, I don't know about
I haven't met those guys.
That. But I do want to say, Cinda, too, you make a valid point because life does happen. And that's something different. You meet somebody, life happens, because I didn't share it, but I do have health challenges. I got sick in 2016. I have heart issues. I have cardiomyopathy. I have a defibrillator. So then I got sick a year later. I have lupus. And all right. So my life has not been without challenges. So that's something different. You know, you date, they sick, of course I would be there, but I'm just talking about those that are intentionally trying to use people. That's something different.
Right.
But
Scammers.
I've met those. I've dated that. I've dated that. Just one of those.
Right, scammers. But I just wanted to put that out there so people can know too, life hasn't been easy. When you have heart problems, now I'm on all kind of medicine until I leave this earth. Like I said, got a defibrillator, so I have to be careful, you know, got autoimmune diseases. So again, life has, I don't want anybody listening to think it's been easy. It has not. There's times when I couldn't walk, couldn't move with autoimmune. Like I said, when you got heart problems, it's scary. You know, having a defibrillator, having to be careful that I don't get shocked with it. You know, but it's also taught me the importance of having balance and self-care. Yes, I do these things, but I also know how to shut it off and take care of myself. You know, I don't burn myself out anymore. I know how to set boundaries. I know how to turn my phone off. I know how to put airplane mode on. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't give it all away, because you got to have some for yourself. So, you know, you hear all these different things I've accomplished. I thank God, but it has not been easy. You know,
I don't think it ever is. And on that note, we're going to leave with the hopeful note that, you know, in spite of struggles, you have really accomplished a lot. And I'm inspired by your walk. And thank you so much for being on the show. So can you please share with the audience, those that are listening, how people can find you, how they can support you and read your books, maybe even if they need a therapist or whatever. Can you share that information right quick with us?
Yes. So for books, they can go to Amazon.com and just put in Carla J. Curtis. All my books will definitely come up. Far as therapy, my website is, I got to put my, it is, what is my website? Okay. Carla J. Curtis clientsecure.me. And then my office number is 630-384-9025. And also I'm licensed in Illinois and I'm licensed in New Jersey. But New Jersey, I don't take health insurance. It would just have to be self-pay. But I wanted to point that out.
So most of that information, all of the phone numbers is within the original post. So you can find Carla if you look for the original post. Her websites and her links are all there. Shelly, do you have anything coming up?
Well, no, I just got an award again this weekend, the Lifetime Achievement Award. So I just want to say thank you to Philadelphia, Jimmy the Saint, and the whole team from Proof of Philadelphia Urban Film Awards. I'm just excited about what God continues to do. It's not
awesome.
heavy, but here it is.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is a great year. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, Shelly Show Williams.
Okay.
And Kid Disco, you got anything?
Man, I'm just on some 420 bum stuff. Like this, I'm gonna do a special mix tonight. Y'all know I never go on the air on Wednesday nights.
It's the Get High mix.
Yo, every song is gonna be.
It's a Reggie Noble mix. It's a Reggie Noble.
What? That's one of my first mashup. My first mashup is my first mashup will be Mary Jane.
Oh, I love me some Rick James.
Mary Jane matched up with Puff the Magic Dragon. You figure it out.
What's it gonna be called? World Weed Day Mix?
It's just
smoked out.
I like that
stuff. Like I'm in producer mode, y'all. Y'all know how that go.
Well, happy 420 day to you and to everyone that that celebrates it. Thank you to everyone that was listening in. Thank you, Christopher, for showing up. It's good to see you. Ramon, James, always, everybody that came. Thank you so much. This week on Friday, I have my new podcast this week with Theodis Rogers Jr., who is a phenomenal musician, and he will be with us again next week. And I think he might even do some live playing. I'm really excited about it. So please come check out the podcast this week on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast, and a lot of other platforms. And also come back next week. We'll miss you for that week. I don't know where I'm going to be. It looks like I'm going to be traveling again.
Because that producer she got for that podcast, y'all.
He's awesome.
Boy. Oh, by the way,
guy.
go Sixers. Sixers play Raptors tonight, third game.
All right. All right. Thank you, Tracy. All right, you guys. God bless you all. Until next time. That's all wrap.